Hi everybody, we are starting the alternative energy unit, and you'll see from the front of the folder that I literally have everything listed out. And obviously we've got a project at the end of the year, and you should be able to get it all done during class. So on this first column, we've got, well, obviously we've got the day and the date, and this will change from obviously year to year, but the basic learning topics will stay the same, and then how much time I'm expecting that to take for me of the period. And then this is how much time you have each day to work on that part of the project. Again, this is not really homework. You should be able to get this all done within my class time. So if we go into this folder, you're going to see that each day is like every other day. I have it spelled out exactly what we're going to do, and I'm giving you background research on things. So this first one is basically fossil fuels, and that's what we currently use, and what we're looking at is alternative energies. We know that there's a directive that all federal vehicles will be hybrid or electric within the next so many years. We know that because the rest of the world has already mandated that they go hybrid or electric, that our current car companies are pushing harder for hybrid and electric than sometimes even the consumers are. And there is some legislation they're looking at, and we'll see if it passes or not, that would basically mandate that within 10 to 15 years that the internal combustion engine by itself would be phased out to use fossil fuels somewhere else, which we'll talk about in notes. But that's why we're really looking at alternative fuels. There are more jobs right now in solar in the United States than there are in coal. So we are really already starting to see things turn around. So what you'll see is I'm going to give you over the next couple days, you're going to review your alternative energy topics today and identify what your topic is. So listen up and listen carefully. There are 8 different topics that we'll talk about. You're going to rank your first 5 in choices. You're going to have to do 2. I'd prefer one to be at the home level and one to be at the community level, but all the topics need to get covered within each hour. So rank your first 5, and I will try and accommodate the top 2 as much as I can. So, and that will be available to you by the end of the day, because it's going to take me a little while to go through that and make sure everything's covered. And then once everything's covered, hopefully more than once, then I will just take everyone's top choices that you get. So then we're going to go through and we're going to look at basically on this short day here. It's just a electric 101 puzzle. So what is electricity? Because we kind of need to understand what that is, and then you're going to start your research. Then we're going to go through a few other things. We'll talk about different forms of renewable energy each day, 1 or 2. You'll do a little reading. So everyone's going to have a basic knowledge of it, but your 2 topics that you're going to do will have to be much more explicit. When we are done, you're also going to have to watch other people's topics, and you're going to do some critiques and reviews. They need to be positive reviews, by the way. And then we're going to watch human footprint. You'll basically submit this. We'll go through that submission process when we get there, and then you will start reviewing. And you will have time in class to go back and watch other people's presentations. So again, that is not homework. So let's look at the actual presentation. The submission is down farther where you actually submit it, but how you go about it is here on day 1. And it's intro, obviously, to the alternative energy project. So this is your place if you want to find it quickly. It's got what you're going to be doing every day, just like you see on the outside of the folder. This is where the video that you're watching right now, and this is the project. And because I know you all read this, you're going to have to listen to me. So this year, at the end of the year project is going to be due, obviously each year will change a little differently. This year it happens to be due on the 19th and 20th. And you should work on this as you have time during your alternative energy unit. You will be sharing some presentations on the last few days of May. So part of your grade will be to watch 10 to 12 other videos, at least one from each topic, and make appropriate and positive reflections on the video that you've watched. You're also going to want to keep track of those, because you're going to have to tell me which ones to go look for to find your comments, because that is part of your grade. So introduction. You will have no doubt learned a lot about pollution and global warming associated with the use of fossil fuels like coal, oil, and natural gas. Our modern society is very reliant on these fuel sources, but we have options to have the potential to be less impactful on the environment. Specifically, in this assignment, you will have opportunities to study the following alternative energy sources. So you're going to choose from wind, solar, geothermal, tidal, biomass, hydrogen, hydroelectric, and nuclear. Nuclear is actually considered not, it's not, it's an alternative energy source. It's not really renewable. And you will do the assignments in the following steps. 1, you're going to choose your topic. You're going to choose 2 of the alternative energy sources listed above to investigate. You must select 2 from these areas: home use, transportation, or in the community. And you may not choose 2 from the same area unless you're doing something like wind or solar. You could technically do a wind or solar on a community scale versus a home scale. Those would be the only 2 I would let you do. So if you want those, make those your first and second choice. You're just going to pick the same thing twice. And in the drop down, I'd have community or home use for those 2. So if you have second part, you're going to actually conduct your research, and this is where you're going to see you're going to get some of your points from. So once you've chosen the 2 topics from above, and I've put the list out so you know which ones you actually got, you're going to use your online source to find the following information on each of the energy sources. So 5 points. You're going to have a description of how each energy source works and produces electricity. 3 points. For each source, you're going to include diagrams, graphs, or video clips to help with your explanation. 6 points. 3 advantages for each source. 4 points. 2 drawbacks for each source. 3 points. Where and how will it be used? So is this home, transportation, or community? You should be identifying this within your presentation. And 2 points is, what is the average cost to install for a home installation or transportation costs? You don't really have to put cost in for community installation unless that price is really easily found. And some of those energy sources, there's more information about that. So you may be able to include that. 4 points. What are the environmental impacts? And the last 10 for this part is, once you've gathered all the above information, you must develop a well-argued, fact-based opinion on whether your energy sources are something that you can and will use in the future. So then for step 3, you need to present your findings. Once you've found the above information on the 2 alternative energy sources, you need to create a video presentation. I would recommend Google Slides, whatever you can do to record, then use something like Screencastify or whatever you've got available on your Chromebook to record it. So your presentation. This is not simply an essay of your information. Remember that as part of your research, you are required to use diagrams, videos, graphs to help explain it, which means it has to be some kind of video presentation. 2 points. Pictures from the web or short video clips can be used to show how each energy source works. 1 point, you will have created your presentation on something like Google Slides, PowerPoint, Prezi, Pages, or whatever works best for you. 1 point, your final presentation must be recorded using something like Screencastify or whatever available, again, on your Chromebook. 1 point, there is a time constraint of 6 minutes per presentation. If you go to 7, I'm not going to dock you points. But the point is, you really can't do this in less than 6, so you just get a point for having covered all the content that you're taking time presenting it well. Honestly, if you went up to 10 minutes, I would be fine with that, but if you go over 10 minutes, then probably going to dock you. In fact, I'll just go change that to 6 to 10 minutes. And 1 point for part of your grade will be to watch 10 or more other videos, minimum of 1 per topic, and make appropriate positive reflection on what you've learned. So on your final submission and reflection statement, you're going to tell me who you watched, and then I go back and give you your points, because I'll actually go look at that. So once your video is completed, you're going to upload the link into the discussion post, and you will include your name and your energy topics, and that will be pretty evident. And this part, all you have to do is, yep, you have watched this video and or heard me go through this in class. That's the end of the instructions. As always, if you need help, you should ask. I'm happy to help with that.